that Carlos Sanchez, Office of Economic Development, the city administrator. I've been working on this project for the last 18 months. The question is, and there was a lot of great comments by the public. There is a lot of misconceptions about what the agreement has in it right now. But to answer your question, the reason we need this type of pilot for this type of development is because, as a lot of people mentioned here, we do have economic development in the city of Plainfield, but we don't have enough economic development. We need to be able to generate this type of projects that will bring people from outside Plainfield to invest and buy in Plainfield. That's one of the reasons that we need this pilot. Without this pilot, this project is not going to take place in the city of Plainfield. It's a $50 million project, and without the pilot, it's just not going to happen in Plainfield. As it was mentioned before by a lot of the residents, as we travel on South Avenue, we go into Fenwood, Cranford, all these other towns. That's exactly what they're doing. They're providing pilots to attract this type of development. It is creating 300 temporary jobs, construction jobs. There is a stipulation on the agreement that the developer has agreed to it, that 10% of the construction jobs will go to qualified local contractors. So it is in the agreement. There is 7 jobs that the project is creating, full-time jobs. The developer has agreed to work with the Office of Economic Development and Community Development as those jobs come available for us to be able to work with them to make them available to the city of Plainfield.
So in Cranford, we have projects going up that are pretty large-scale projects near the train station. Is it possible that because their rents are higher, they don't need pilots, or do they have pilots?
They do have pilots. Most of the projects around any transit village, anywhere around the train stations, not only in our corridor here, in Cranford, Westfield, but also if you go into Maplewood, South Orange, all those projects have pilots.
Why does it have to be a 30-year pilot?
That's a very good question, and we looked at the numbers, and the numbers right now, the performance that was submitted to us will not work, and the financing will not be available to do this unless we do a 30-year pilot. The numbers just don't work. One of the numbers that we looked at, that is looked at every project, is the return on investment. Every developer that comes to any municipality, regardless if it's Cranford, Westfield, Plainfield, they have to have a return on investment. Typically, for a project like this, a return investment that a developer will look for is anywhere between 12 to 15%. This project has a return investment of 7.2%. That's the return on investment that this developer is getting with the pilot on it. He is investing $50 million. This is not being subsidized by any tax or any local, federal, or state funding. This is all private funding coming from private banks.
Any more questions, please? Yes.
I would like to make a few remarks. Just over 2 years ago, people in the city of Plainfield elected me along with other members of the governing body. And I pledged to the people of the city of Plainfield that I will put a team in place, that we will work together to drive down crime in this city and to enhance public safety, because that is extremely important to us attracting development in this city. I also pledge that we will spur economic development, because it is so absolutely necessary if we are to stabilize taxes and relieve the burden of property taxes from homeowners. I talked about the need for us to improve the city's reputation, and I have recited that over and over and over again. And there are people that are watching us. There are people that are reading the newspapers. And if we create an atmosphere, a climate that sends a signal to any prospective developer, then those individuals who otherwise might want to come here and invest for the benefit of the people who live here will not come. And so for us to stabilize taxes, we can talk all we want about expecting investors to pay on the basis of an assessed valuation. The fact of the matter is, 9 out of 10 times, the way to spur economic development is through incentives. And the incentive that municipalities have to provide to developers, that incentive is known as a pilot. We don't have the resources that state governments have to sweeten the pot in order to bring and entice development. Pilots, that's the way we do it at the local municipal level. We're talking about an area that's blighted with 11 properties. One of them is doing very well. And the developer will acquire these properties. And if he does not, and things remain as they are, over that same 30-year period, we will collect just over $3 million in property taxes, compared to approving a pilot for the same period of time that will result in us bringing in over $10 million into the city coffers. I believe Mr. Goldstein and Bernice, they chronicle it very well in terms of the number of times that the council was informed along the way about the need for a pilot on this project. And so, for the council to claim that it didn't know, that's not an accurate position for the governing body to take. Now, something that bothers me to no end, and you heard one of the speakers mention that developers are being denied. This administration has pledged, and I will repeat that pledge. I, along with members of my administration, will work with every person who steps forward with a project that is viable, that they can demonstrate they have the wherewithal to do those projects. This administration and every board that is responsible will work with every prospective developer to make sure that we facilitate the accomplishment of his or her goals, and that is the realization of the construction of a project in the city of Plainfield that will benefit whoever that developer is, as well as the taxpayers here in the city of Plainfield. I am bothered by the fact that a project that was presented to me at my dining room table, it was presented in the presence of Corey Storch. I don't recall if Councilor Williams was present, but the project was presented to us. That project was advanced. It came forward and it was rejected because those individuals wanted us to give them land for free. They wanted us to give away 2 parking lots. We can't do that. And under my watch, we will not do that. We're going to walk the straight and narrow. And so I am appalled at the fact that one of these individuals who pitched that project was sent to sit down and try to negotiate with members of my staff, members of my administration, and to extort the approval of the giving of 2 city parking lots to those individuals in order for this project to be approved. That appalls me. It is a sad day in Plainfield that that's what we are looking at. So I call on the members of this governing body. We were all elected by the people to do right by the people. I call on every member of this governing body. There are 5 of you present here today. This project means a great deal to the city of Plainfield. It's a $50 million investment, the highest that has ever been proposed in this city of Plainfield. And we have an obligation. We have a fiduciary obligation and responsibility to do the right thing by the city of Plainfield. So I encourage you to not place selfish profit motives of a couple individuals above what is in the best interest of the people of this city. and this project is. There's none better, and by doing this, by approving this project, it will be a catalyst for further economic development, and as South Avenue goes, so will the rest of the city. So I implore you, I beg you, in the interest of fairness, in the interest of the taxpayers of this city, this project needs to be approved, and you are the ones holding it in the balance. And I ask you not to let the scales falter against the best interests of the taxpayers. Thank you.
Comments from the council members before we move forward?
Yes. Out of all the comments I heard tonight, the one that I'm the most sympathetic to are the comments about getting jobs and work for our local contractors, whether they be minority or just Plainfield residents, or both. Clearly, this project is going to address that concern in a small way. I don't think it's in a way that's satisfactory to council members, and I'll include myself in that. And in a minute, I'm going to ask our corporation counsel to explain what our limitations are regarding set-aside contracts in these developments. But I do want to say to my colleagues and to the residents, even though this project is not going to get us where we want to be in terms of local residents becoming employed and local contractors getting more business, this is a step this is a building block towards that. And I will go further to say that we, after over a year of working on this project, we turned this down in the 11th hour and 59th minute. It's actually going to set back our plans for further employment and further work for our contractors. Because developers are not going. We started getting them to come and listen to us. They're saying they're going to put some money on the table, and we have to do everything we can to get that prime that pump so that we can actually get real economic development way beyond this project. This project is a small step, but a very important step.
Any more comments from council members?
I'll just add to what I said, I guess, a few weeks ago, and it's partly Council President to say, but I think that, this is a $50 million project, we cannot let it fail. I think we do have an obligation to all the residents here to, to provide, I think this development will provide a spur to further development. I live on South Avenue, I actually live right next to where this development will be. So I walk to Netherwood train station when I have to go into New York and so forth. And there are several properties that I can see as the Starbucks or what have you. I mean, I don't know exactly what they all would be, but it's certainly, all these businesses that need revitalization, that need a facelift and so forth, folks will be walking from that building to a Netherwood just like I do. Folks will be walking, or they walk from my building there. We have to not think that it's just a matter of just that area, but that folks from all over, from the development at 920 Netherwood Point will, also go to the shops along South Avenue. So I think we really do have to look at the bigger picture. This kind of a development can spur some of the other developments on the North Avenue, in the first ward, over there by that side of the train station, and East 2nd Street. So we really have to, consider what developers are looking at when they see this project. This will bring more developers, and hopefully some of our homegrown developers, of which Mr. Brown mentioned, and Mr. Lattimore also spoke. There will be projects for others to bring forward, but if they see that this kind of project is not going to be moved forward, it will make them a little gun shy, and maybe they will go somewhere else with their development. And we again will be left behind. So I really think we need to, take the bull by the horns and support this very important development. Thank you.
I, in all good conscience, cannot commit taxpayers to allow a 30-year pilot. I think that's outrageous, a 30-year pilot. Who knows what to happen in 30 years? Most of our residents, they're struggling to pay their taxes. Most, I know, a lot of them, they talk to me. And so at this time, I'm telling you, I definitely cannot support this.
And I just want to say to Mr. Goldstein and Mayor Matt, that yes, the council was aware of a pilot, but not a 30-year pilot. The council was just informed of this 30-year pilot. And I want to go on the record saying that is incorrect information. This council member was only informed of this 30-year pilot a couple of weeks ago at the meeting. So at this, if Councilman Tolliver, I'm sorry, you want to, do you have
I
anything to
did have
say,
a question
Councilman
for
Tolliver?
Corporation Counsel.
One second. Councilman Tolliver, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm allowed. I would just like to say, 30 years ago, or not quite 30 years, I think we still have 15 years left on the Peppers building. What's the progress with the Peppers building? Is that a big unit for 30 years? Was it successful? I'm asking anybody that can answer. And how do we know
Yes.
who,
You said anybody?
but I'm talking now.
Okay. Tell me when I can answer.
So what I'm saying is, how do we know for a fact? All of these are not necessarily guaranteed. How do we know this is gonna be a guarantee? 30 years from now, we don't know what's we will have signed off on this, because right now, it seems like the best thing to do is the best interest of the city. But what guarantees do this governing body have right now, that we can have a surety that this is going to even work? Some pilot programs do not, if I may correct things correctly. But from my research and what I've been told, all pilot programs, and we do not want to sign off, I'll speak for myself. I do not want to sign off on anything that I don't have the surety that it's definitely going to work. And I realize that I am the youngest member of the council. I remember Mr. Stewart brought this to our attention early on, but I did not have a lot, I was not here in 2014. So I didn't have privy to information that was issued to the council. So at this moment, I'm not convinced. I don't sign my name to anything. Because like I said, I have not been convinced that it would work.
Just briefly, I was not on the council when that project was approved. I was a planning board member, so I did know something about it. And as a 36-year resident of the city, I think anybody who's been here that long, who spent any time in downtown, knew that the Peppers project, that empty, vacant building looming over like a ghost structure, was an albatross on the city in terms of downtown development. Nobody would bring any capital to the table. And that still continues to be our problem in large parts citywide. But because of that project getting done, I don't think that was a great project. But in my mind, that project, the alternative to that project was continuing to have the downtown that we used to have. Downtown hasn't improved since that time. Because we got that albatross off our mission. We got the Park Madison project developed and other projects. There used to be many more vacant properties, vacant retail shops downtown. So it didn't get us to where we want to go, but it got us part of the way. Obviously, a lot more needs to be done, but that pilot was necessary.
I think Mrs. Stewart had a question. Sure.
Yes, so when we do these projects, and this has come up, this came up with the Park Madison and Texas project as well, where the council members wanted some set aside some jobs. And we had this discussion, I think, I'm not sure how often we've had this discussion recently, but we had a beneficial to everybody to do a legal perspective on it, and perhaps even what you could do to get around some of the legal impediments. Or I don't know, if it's legal impediments or something. Well,
Is your question our set aside producing a pilot agreement? I'm not sure if all the question.
Why aren't we doing a pilot, or why aren't we doing like a set aside for this project?
We are doing a set aside.
You're talking about 10%.
Exactly, that's
So
correct. That was,
why can't we do it?
well, that was a negotiated number. Just for clarity and background, the Director of Economic Development, the mayor, myself, various professionals, all sat in the negotiations with the pilot agreement. We fought for the best number we could get before we bring it to the governing body. Obviously, there are financial constraints on going even higher, but we were able to get 10%. That was a negotiated number after some give and take.
And if we, I don't know what number you were asking for, but let's just say we were asking for double that. What would have happened if we insisted on it and said, take it or leave it?
We would not be here, there would not be a pilot on
And
the
why would the developer not accept that? Or,
It was, I would say it was purely for financial reasons. Obviously, he'd like to the extent that he can go. I can't speak for him, but I can say that it was imperative that we have set aside for this project. The mayor was insistent upon it, and we got it. And I believe this is the first project I'm aware of where we were able to get a mandatory set aside, 10%.
and did anybody answer questions why the developer resists giving more of the set aside? And this is gonna be, fuel for further discussions, because obviously this discussion has to continue.
Absolutely. You know, all those numbers are negotiable numbers. And it comes to negotiating factor of financing for the developer. It all comes to the profit. As I said, as I mentioned before, this particular project has an internal rate of return of 7.23%, which is very low compared to the average projects of 12 to 15%. So this was part of the negotiating factor in his financing in the performance that he presented in front of us.
And why would a developer consider it a financial disincentive to hire local workers and local contractors?
Because typically, a lot of these contractors have a set number of subcontractors that they use probably in multiple projects. So they have a contract with this contractor, and in particular, this developer right now is working on multiple projects in other municipalities. So what happens is that there is an advantage for them to be able to use the same type of contractors to move them around in the projects. And that's a financial incentive for them.
Thank you.
May I answer the question that Councilwoman Talbot had as far as the guarantee of if the pilot will work for 30 years? In the financial agreement, and we have hired one of the best redevelopment attorneys in the state of New Jersey, Matt Meneman in Scotland. And in the financial agreement, there is language specific to certain requirements that they have to comply with. If at any time that developer doesn't comply with the requirements that are laid out on the financial agreement or the pilot agreement that we propose it, then the administration has and the governing body has all the right to pull the pilot back, and that property will become taxable at a regular rate. So if the developer in 15, 20, 25 years decides that they want to sell the project or transfer the project, there is a stipulation in that agreement as to the percentage that they are able to transfer. And if they do sell it, that transfer has to be approved by the governing body at that time. So there is a guarantee that what we laying out on that agreement will be delivered. Otherwise, they will not get the benefit of the taxes of the pilot.
One last question. If this does not get approved by the council, do you believe the developer will walk, or is there a possibility that the developer will be amenable to further discussions? The council's.
I can't speak on behalf of the developer, but I can tell you that at the last council meeting, after the last council meeting, he called me on the side and he was ready at that time to withdraw the application from the planning board. After further conversation with him, he continued with the application, and he has received preliminary and final approval from the planning board, My gut tells me that if this doesn't get approved tonight, we will probably walk away from the project, based on the town representation it has made in the past.
Thank you.
I offer the ordinance of 2015 an ordinance authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with Sleepy Hollow Developers Urban Renewal LCC and granting a tax exemption with respect to certain property governed by the South Avenue Gateway redevelopment plan within block 625, block 625.01, and the old South Avenue right of way. I request the title to be read.
Clerk's office, clerk, will read the ordinance by the chair.
I move the ordinance to be adopted on the first reading, and if adopted, that the clerk shall advertise this ordinance as required by law, and that the second reading of said ordinance shall be held at a regular meeting in the municipal court council chambers located at 325 Watchung Avenue, New Jersey, on Monday, September 14th, 2015, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Clerk, have a roll call?
Roll call on MC 2015-32, seconded by Councilman Storch. Council members Greaves.
No.
Councilman Storch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Tolliver.
No.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Council President Rivers.
No.
This ordinance has failed on first reading.